Hi Kamini, hi Prachi.
Hi.
What was the process like to work together?
I think for me it was highly collaborative and creative working with Kamini. She made sure that we went through all the recipes that she had created and made sure that each meal was targeted to our audience, which needed quick and nourishing meals, which were balanced for their gut, for their hormonal balance, and overall nutrition.
It was a very seamless project with Prachi because I would create the recipes and then send it to her to calculate the nutritional value, and she would do it very fast. And as she was far ahead of her time schedule, and then return it back, and it was very easy. And I mean, obviously she's a nutritionist, so she understands all the nuances, but she also has very good taste palette. So it was a good guidance when I say, oh, this is a coconut-based thing, so she's like, you can use this instead. So her advice would be very logical also. Because there are a lot of people who understand, who are in the field, but may not really have a developed taste palette or awareness of cooking or how things are made, whether it's steamed first or fried first, or how much effort goes into prepping that particular ingredient before you use it. So I think when you're doing recipe development, this is one of the most important parts, is to look behind what the final dish is. So yeah, I think it was very easy. We would just go back and forth. Again, there were a few recipes that I had to really go after you for, saying, is this okay? Is this okay? She had to calculate that many times. Some of them. So, but that was. Yeah, that's a process. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
How did you increase the nutritional value in some of the recipes?
So I think we made sure that each recipe was decent in the amount of protein it had, but also the amount of fiber, so it's easy on the gut. We added stuff like tofu or plant proteins to make sure that we're reaching good amount of protein, and then incorporated a lot of vegetables to make sure we get the fiber, and some lentils or some pulses to make sure we balance it overall.
Yeah, and I think one of the most crucial part of Nourish is that it's supposed to be easy digestible protein. So while we have a lot of vegetarian sources of protein, it's very easy to put in, a handful of rajma or chole into a dish up the protein level, but then you're also increasing the calorie values. But more importantly, it's probably very discomforting for a particular age group to digest. So we had to really keep that in these factors in mind. And also Prachi was very good at saying, okay, well, there's a lot of healthy fats content in this dish, so this will be easy to digest. So go ahead, give this particular type of protein on this day. So for example, tofu, her job was to say, put tofu in. My job was to mask the taste of tofu, knowing that it's not a very palatable ingredient for a lot of households. So I'd say, okay, we crumbled it in or grated it in, and you can't taste the flavor in it. So that's how we work on upping the nutritional values overall.
Which dish was the hardest to achieve the nutritional value?
For me, I think the coconut stew and the lemon rice was a little tricky. So initially, it tastes really good, but for nutritional value particularly, it was a little difficult to achieve. And I think that is when me and Kamini spoke about what can we do to make sure that it is balanced, it has good proteins. Also, it had good amount of fat with the coconut and the vegetables and everything. So I think we added tofu to that, or paneer to that, to make sure that the protein also goes up and it tastes really good as well.
When you think of balanced meals, what components do you think one should prioritize?
100%, especially for women, protein or in general nourishing food or balanced meal doesn't come naturally. For others, for the family it does, but for themselves they might not want to go or work into that pattern. But I think protein and fiber are really crucial for women to make sure that they're having balanced amount of meals and making sure that they're incorporating mainly these two components with other components as well.
For me, a balanced meal is all of that, but it's also a balance in color, the visual. I want to make sure that it's a very appetizing looking meal, eating right and eating clean and eating healthy. This is not punishment. It's actually a very beautiful lifestyle that you must really enjoy. And my job is to make sure it tastes really good, it looks really good, and it's also very easy to make. That's most crucial. That it should be very, very easy to make with minimal effort. So I think, that's for me, that's the balance.
What do your dinners look like?
So it varies, like everyone. Some days I am not feeling like that I just have, say, khichdi, but I'll make sure that I pair it with some protein that would be curd or curry or something, which gives me something. Some days it looks really colorful, as Sammy mentioned, that you want your food to be appetizing and you really want to enjoy your food as well. But I would definitely make sure that all my meals, especially dinners, have good amount of protein, fats, veggies, colors, everything into it. So it's enjoyable, it's nourishing, it's easy on the gut, you get a good night's sleep as well after. So I think that is typical.
For me, it's a lot of what is in the book. The inspiration is from my own dinners. Except maybe I go less on carbs, but there's always a larger portion of protein and a decent amount of vegetables, especially greens, and at least a lot of soups to help get all your, all the vegetables in your five servings. That's pretty much my dinner. I think it's always like in this book, it's a different cuisine every night. It's all homemade, but it's different spices and flavors.
How do you prioritize your health with your work?
That's tricky. So honestly for me, I would make sure that I have small tapas in my bag if I get hungry. So I'll have nana tapa, I'll have a fruit with me some days, or I'll have anything that is made at home. So I'll carry those small tapas and make sure that I'm eating at a good pace and not going hungry and not eating a lot at once. So I think that is a trick I think everyone does.
Yeah, for me it's having lots of tapas with me because I have very long strenuous days and it's all over the place and every day is different, which is why for me planning is so important. And if I don't plan the night before, the morning is quite chaotic. And I think another thing that how I manage to be healthy is maybe just take deep breaths in between. So it's okay, we'll get through it. Nothing is really the end of the world. So I think mindset, not just food, it's not only what you're eating, but it's also your mindset, how you talk to yourself, how you handle situations and stress. Yeah, I think that's just as important.
What kind of cuisines have you tried to incorporate in the cookbook?
I have done cuisines which is South Indian. There's a pulao, which is reminiscent of biryani. Then there's an Asian meal. There is a snacky Frankie. There is chillas. So there's a lot of, and there's an Italian meal as well. So I have done cuisines which is easily relatable to every household. It's not authentic to the cuisine, it's authentic to the Indian palate because it has to be understandable, right? The ingredients need to be available, affordable, easy in your pocket, available always in your pantry. So I don't want. I do understand that the woman is the last person to go out to the store to buy something for herself, for her child, for her family, yes, but not for herself. And so I want to make it still that there's a niche to deny good food. So this book is to address that gap. So the cuisines are it's Indianized versions of the Italian lentil soup. Then there's a Frankie with the hidden secret protein ingredient. Even the South Indian curry, which is the coconut stew. It's not perhaps authentic South Indian because obviously not everybody will have those ingredients. Or maybe have it very refined palate. It's with regular ingredients from mostly in your pantry. So I think all the cuisines are very much approachable, very much likable, and it's food that you actually crave. You will not feel denied that this is punishment.
Yeah, I think I agree. The food that Kamini has tried to incorporate into this is mainly the food that you can get easily, it's sustainable, you don't have to really buy stuff that you can't use after. and is really interesting, and I think that was a brilliant idea to have, because a lot of cookbooks maybe buy stuff and then it's just lying in a pantry, you're not able to use it after, but especially this, I really love the idea that all the ingredients are found in your pantry and you don't have to go extra mile to really get everything and then try and come out of it.
What is a pantry staple in your kitchen?
I'm a long list.
So I think for me, something that is good and I would want to have mainly is the spices first, because those are really versatile. I think if you're sick, if you're happy, if you're inviting people, I think anything would be really compatible with that. I am a really rice eater, like I love rice in general, so I'll try and make different things out of it, or maybe add a lot of things in the rice and try a different cuisine, call it my own sometimes. But also making sure that it gives me enough amount of fiber. Also, because again, high calories would be a little bit tricky, but for me, I think that's the thing that I would definitely have in my pantry.
For me, spices as well. I mean, that's a basic spice because I can use it to make all kinds of cuisines. And like I said, it's very good for all sick days. And the other one I think would be a variety of, this is such a hard question. There's lots of nuts, cheeses, vegetables, grains, rice, noodles. I think that everything. And chocolate, let's not forget that. Always has to be chocolate.
How do these recipes balance convenience and nutrition?
So I think as Kamini has done a wonderful job overall with making sure that all the recipes, music ingredients that are in your pantry, and making sure that both of us have to make sure that they are balanced, they are nourishing, they are easy on your gut. So that is how I think they go really well. And all the recipes are really different to each other, so you don't feel that you're having a similar thing as well. So yeah, that is how they were balanced both nutritionally and sustainably as well.
I think one of the most key things of each recipe is that because it's designed exactly for one person, keeping in mind that everyone doesn't want to make so much in excess. It also helps to be portion controlled, so that you know that this is how much you are supposed to eat. You have to finish it in order to achieve the nutrition given. And it's a beautiful meal. It's quite adequate in portion. Yeah, and it makes you realize that I really need to eat this much, to have a healthy diet. And then the most important thing is the prep given. I'm not asking, I'm trying to use minimal vessels. None of them require a pressure cooker because I know for one portion it's very hard to run a pressure cooker. So the recipes are given in such a way, it's also so that hectic working lifestyle. For the person that doesn't enjoy spending so much time in the kitchen, and not a lot of people do, it's understandable. But so that's all that the whole process, the method has kept it, in mind, and it's also known how to prep beforehand. So you have to soak a lentil beforehand. Information is given, and how to cook it all together. So I'm not asking you to have 7 vessels on the gas to achieve one meal, because I know your other burners are gone for the rest of your family. So I think that's the practicality that is really coming to this interest.
What is a comfort meal for you in Nourish?
For me, it's the mint kalajan pulao.
I think, I was going to say the same. I also think the little Italian.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's Italian.
Comforted as well.
The lentil soup I have so much. All the time. I have at least twice a week of myself. And for me, that recipe, the cooking meal, the chicken meal are my favorite. Yes.
What nutritional needs do you think are most often overlooked in a woman's diet?
So I think honestly, protein and fiber are the key to any women's health, honestly, and anyone in general, especially women, because we start losing our muscle mass as we age. We should make sure that we retain all the muscle mass, make sure our rest of the journey is really good. So protein and fiber are definitely something that is looked over, especially in Gujarati meal in general. We have a lot of carb heavy meals. So making sure that there's balanced both, that's really important.
Was there a specific nutrient or food group you wanted to highlight across the meals?
So I think going back to protein and fiber again, and making sure that the meal looks really appealing, the colors that were used, the vegetables, everything had to go hand in hand. But again, going back to protein and fibers, that was something we were really focusing on.
What were the key considerations you want to weigh while consulting with each meal?
The same protein, vessels, the use of vessels at the perfect time, the affordability, the accessibility of ingredients. Yeah, so I've been very conscious not to use any ingredient which is very expensive or imported, or you really need to go to a special shop for. So that includes avocado or fancy cheeses, or frozen goods, or the imported sources of vegetarian protein. I am using as much our own basic masala daba, the Indian lentils, the Indian grains. I'm not even when it comes to the friendly roti, it's totally flour. We've given you calculation according to that. If you want to use ragi flour or millet flour, yes, by all means. But what I'm trying to say is that even with whole wheat flour or regular rice, you can still eat beautifully and nourish your body and your soul. So I think that's what this is the gist of what we were trying to do, is that it doesn't break the bank. You don't need to go out of your way. Everything is available at your local groceries and your local mom and pop stores. It doesn't require a fancy website to order ingredients.
Yeah. And I think we also were focusing on creating things fish or as minimal as possible.
Yeah.
So you know exactly how much you're preparing, how much person is eating, and how much you're getting out of it. So
yeah. So there's, ideally it's just finishing the entire portion. So you're not going to have leftovers the next day. You're not going to eat all food, which is something I'm very, very particular about. Like I do not, as a principle in Ayurveda, and in Chinese medicine, we don't eat food which is not fresh, which is leftover. I mean, technically we're not supposed to reheat the food either. But I mean, maybe that's a bit tough to follow. But at least I overall, we've made something for dinner. It's for dinner. Finish it. Eat that portion. Don't make extra. Don't try and eat perfectly to your next day, because you're going to make fresh food and then end up eating double, or it's just extra gas. Bloating.
If you had to describe Nourish in 3 words, what would they be?
I think, as the name suggests, Nourish is really nourishing. It is simple and it is well balanced and sustainable at the same time.
For me, the 3 words I would choose is, one is thoughtful, because it's really thinking about you as a woman, as an individual being, separate from any other identities that you have. The second word is, I would say, it's a dinner Bible. It kind of helps make your life completely easy. You never have to think too much about, am I going to eat something right tonight or not? Some of the recipes are also, you can decide 2 hours before, and it's just mentioned. And I think the third word is, it's a pleasure. I mean, it's to treat yourself well, to eat well, feed yourself well. It's the ultimate form of pleasure. Whereby, why else are we here? Not to eat well and die well, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.